So do you have like a favorite going into this? I mean, I don't know if you're a fan of either one of the teams, but is there a rooting interest that you have going into this one?
I think the rooting interest has to be just the offensive firepower. I'm going for Patrick Mahomes, obviously black quarterback right there. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but seeing that offense every year, possibly the best player in the league, got to go for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's one of the reasons I'm going for the Chiefs because of that. Andy Reid, head coach, been to the Super Bowl before, of course, a long time head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's talk about that point, Donny, since you brought it up, If you don't have a horse in the race, right, you don't have a dog in the fight, black people, let's be real about this. Do you root for the team that has the black quarterback or the black head coach?
Every time.
Why?
Every time, because I got to be with my people. And I want to see my people be successful. And I know with the NFL and the whole thing about not having a lot of black coaches and one black GM, no black owners, if we don't start to see some type of, you were saying this earlier, we have discussion before the show, we don't start to see some type of success out of our people, then it validates, for some reason, in the upper people's minds that they're not fit for the job. They can't do the job. So we need to see more black quarterbacks win, to get more black head coaches and get more black GMs, and hopefully we get a black owner. I don't know how that's going to go. We might got to wait for some of these dudes to die off or something. That's what's going to have to happen.
They still got to be voted in.
Exactly. I know, right? And you still got to be voted in. So, every single time. Some of my favorite players growing up, Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon. You know how I feel about Cam Newton. We talked about that on Sports Radio. Any black quarterback that's out there, Jameis Winston, I'm pulling for all of them, and I'm pulling for all black coach. I'm glad my team got a black coach, and we got the one black GM. Every time. Every damn time.
And you think about that, James, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with rooting for the black quarterback or the black GM because of everything, or black head coach because of everything Vernon just said.
Yeah, well, first of all, I can never root for San Francisco, so I got to go.
Cowboy.
In the sense that, but you try to talk about the amazing talent. If you watch this young man in Kansas City and how he makes plays, the biggest fear is that they go down 17-24 and he comes back and has a magnificent performance. You can't do that against San Francisco.
Yeah, well, he did it against the Texans. I know it's a different defense.
But different defense and what happened. So I'm going to go with Kansas City because of the offensive coordinator, who's black.
Right, Eric Bieniemy.
Absolutely.
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric is a good friend of mine. We played high school against each other, as well, college against each other. And I think if he would have not been going to the Super Bowl, I think he would have had an opportunity to be a head coach at this point.
Yeah, he should have. At least the New York Giants.
They got to figure out how to change the rules and regulations to give a guy who's winning with success opportunity to interview. And that's something that the league has to go back and look into.
And that's what I was just talking about. There's nothing wrong with rooting for the black quarterback or the GM or the head coach because we don't have enough right there. And there's still perceptions about those people in those positions. So we have to see them win in order for them to get over that stereotype. So, absolutely.
But you also need some GMs. The GMs, right? The GMs, they hire the coaches.
And also, in understanding this in simple terms, is that they recycle coaches, just like what happened in Carolina. Now, he's the minority, but now
Ron
he's
Rivera.
watching. Ron is,
with the skins now.
People feel comfortable with people can run their business too, though. So that's what we have to look at, and where we have to have a situation where coordinators get an opportunity to learn and groom, because they are never. If you have a multi-billion-dollar industry, you're just not going to just give the keys to anyone.
Right.
They got to be able to run that business.
Right. Well, there you go. So you root for Kansas City because of Mahomes, but then you realize he got a teammate, and Frank Clark, that's a defensive end. Now, Frank Clark's a pretty good defensive end. Frank Clark, they have these media availabilities, and they get to sit there and talk. Well, it wasn't necessarily what he said at a media availability. Was it yesterday, a couple of days ago? It's what he wore. Do we have the video of that? Show the video.
So, can you explain the shirt?
The hoodie?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I got it from my good friend in L.A. At Zeros. Zeros is a clothing store. Never forget, man. Y'all know the moment when Donald Trump met Kanye. Very historical moment in our history.
He's just clowning.
See, I don't know. I don't know how to take. Is he trolling? Is he a Trump supporter? Should it matter?
I don't know what he's doing.
What do you think?
I don't know, but I think he just wants some attention to me.
Well, he got it.
Yeah, but I can't speak on that because I don't know why he wore it. You know what I mean? So I just don't know, Mike.
I think when you get in that stage, media-wise, and this is being part of the Super Bowl, the biggest piece is the media. You know, Richard Sherman became Richard Sherman when he made a statement at his first Super Bowl when he played for Seattle.
Right.
That's idiotic, what just took place, but
why is it idiotic, though?
But he has, because we was all sitting here trying to figure out why. So if you're going to make a statement, not usually using your words, but a visual statement, which people are visual, right? Then you got to actually explain it.
Right.
And at no point in time did he try to explain
Well, how come? Maybe that's the media's fault, too, because they didn't push him enough to ask him what his stance is. If he's going to wear something like that, he puts himself out there so that he is, the media can ask him those type of questions.
The perception is he's supporting Trump then, if he's going to do that.
That's what I'm saying. So unless he explains himself.
And not only that, not only supporting, but the fact is that the media is not afraid. The NFL does not want to get into that battle with Donald Trump as well on the biggest stage.
Cedric, you agree with that? Do you think it's any of our business? I mean, if he wear what he wants to, if the NFL didn't have a problem with it, we don't watch.
I think he succeeded in what he was trying to do. He's trying to get us to talk about him. He's trying to become a household name, like you mentioned. Effective troll job. You remember Marshawn Lynch made himself a household name with barely saying anything.
He didn't say shit.
Didn't say nothing. Frank's doing the same thing. He wants people to talk about him. Whether there's a bigger message behind the shirt or not, he could be trying to call out Kanye subtly. Is Kanye really out of the doghouse right now after the Sunday service, stuff like that? Maybe not so much.
Right.
But maybe he's drawing attention to that. But we're talking about Frank, and I think that's all that matters.
Because nobody really know who he is. I just thought, you know what I mean? So he's not one of my favorite football players. So did you know who Frank Clark was?
Absolutely. I'm a Michigan fan. He came out of Michigan, so I follow him coming out of high school because I follow their recruiting, being in the sports broadcasting world too. But a couple of points. Sherman didn't do it at the Super Bowl. If you remember, it was when he stopped Crabtree in the NFC Championship game, and he had the post game with Pam Oliver. That was the coming out, which led to the Super Bowl. I think he's trolling. I really do, and I think I'm with you. I think he's trying to really divert, and he's calling out people like Kanye. That's what I really took from it. Now that I see it again, and I don't think he was supporting Trump. I can't feel that. I just, you know, you would be, man, black right now, bruh, at the Super Bowl. You'd be a damn fool to announce this is the time that you supporting Donald Trump, and you're about to play, as you just heard all those details you gave us about playing the Super Bowl, the biggest game of your life. And this is what you're going to put out? That's a complete distraction.
He was supporting Trump.
I think he's totally trolling. I think he's slightly calling. I think he's like, I like that.
So you think he's supporting Trump?
I think he's supporting Trump. Why would you put on a shirt if you're not supporting an individual? Like, I'm not going to put on Charles Manson on my shirt if I'm not supporting him.
I think it's more so about Kanye being in that picture, though. He's calling attention to Kanye more than Trump.
Yeah, he said never forget.
Exactly.
So, and then Trump is, Kanye is supposed to be having a Sunday service in Miami as well, during the Super Bowl as well. So maybe, once again, I see your point. Maybe he is calling out Kanye more so than bringing attention that I am a Trump, because he would have said, I'm a Trump supporter, or somebody should have even pushed him and asked him if he was a Trump supporter.
Well, he's doing just what he wants. We all up here guessing, so we don't know.
But once again, here's the thing. It's his political belief. He's an American, right? If he wants to support Trump, let him support Trump. What's wrong with that? I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying, what's wrong with...
Mike, you know what damn well is wrong with supporting Trump.
I'm just saying,
as a black, like I said, as a black, listen, as a brother or sister right now, that's the glass of juice you can't drink, bro. You gotta put that glass down, and if you're gonna drink it, you gotta wait.
What you feel about it, James?
Yeah, you can't.
I tell you what, though,
you can't have that right now.
All jokes aside, though, he done tricked all of us. And everybody, it was enough voters that drunk the Kool-Aid that voted for him.
But think about this. If Frank Clark is a guy, like you said, he does this. This is what he does.
Yeah.
He calls out tight ends. He says he likes to bring attention to himself, if you know anything about his history or whatnot. But if you're getting ready for the big game, one of the things that people don't like, they don't like distractions. They don't like distractions. Is this, if you're looking at him and you're one of his teammates, do you look at this as a distraction?
Well, if you were in our locker room behind the blue curtain, the first thing would have said, man, what you trying to do? Matter of fact, it wouldn't even have the coaches, the owners wouldn't have to do that.
What's the blue curtain?
That was in Dallas.
That was in Dallas, yeah.
Dallas.
Put up into the locker room.
Yeah.
It was a curtain
that you go behind.
In Valley Ranch, they had a blue curtain.
Okay,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah,
go in the
sorry.
bathroom and get out.
Kinda.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The one that Michael.
I like you, Donny.
You wild, man. Donnie's out. Yeah, you did wake him up. You did wake Donnie up.
That was the whole point.
Mike, I watch the show. I watch the show all the time, man. This is the live as I see it.
Mike, you know what I have to say though? Man, the two dudes that sit next to me though, in a short period of time, they done gave me some straight knowledge.
Good.
I mean, I've
That's
been
what we're trying to
impressed
do on
with the two
Fox,
gentlemen
though.
that's been sitting with me. Though.
Yeah, man, that's what we're
Yeah.
trying to do.
Appreciate it.
And we also are very interactive. We like the viewers and the audience members to have a say so as well. We got an audience member. What you got to say, young lady?
Hi, so my name is Dunya and I just had a little question. So as athletes, do you think you should keep your personal opinion and like politics opinion, or that you should use your fame and influence to share your thoughts and political views?
Good, James.
I think that I'm a very outspoken person, so obviously keeping my personal opinion and everybody else's opinion is very tough. I think that if you're knowledgeable of the topic, if you're going to state an opinion, you need to inform yourself or do some background. Just do not blurt out words
Thank you.
because you want to be seen or heard. So I think if you're going to state your opinion,
Right.
make sure that you understand the background of what you're talking about. Because I tell you this, in this society today, and we was kind of laughing, could you imagine in the 90s if we had this Instagram and this, we would be, oh man.
Yeah. With the Dallas Cowboys,
Dallas
especially.
Cowboys in the
yes.
90s,
Yeah.
if we had Instagram and just...
All y'all be on probation.
All of
like, yeah. At least a couple y'all have a couple of strikes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, we was all together probably about 3 weeks ago, and we was like, man, could you imagine if they had all this social media?
James, I know somebody got some behind the scenes video of the White House though, bruh. Y'all heard the White House back in the
I guarantee you ain't got nobody got
There's
it.
no video of what
No,
happened.
we
in the
got a lot of video.
Okay.
But we got it.
I'm surprised. Like,
We got video.
you know about the White House?
No, I don't.
Back in the 90s, the Cowboys had this Michael
Oh, I
Irvin.
thought you was talking about the White House.
Not that White House. I'm
Donald
talking
Trump
about
White House.
Joe White House.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
I like that.
No,
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about like
Yeah, I
when we
don't
went to
care
see
about-
Bill Clinton.
No, what the hell he was talking about.
No. I'm
You
talking
were
about,
not talking about Bill
I'm talking about the
Clinton?
Cowboys White House. Back in the 90s. You know what you
really?
heard of the White House. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
yes.
I heard. Yeah,
What is it? Keep us. What is the White House? What is that?
It's a house they painted white.
It was their little jumping off spot where all the shit went down.
Oh,
you
you
know
talking
what
about that? Okay.
Trap
I mean?
house.
Yeah, look,
Yeah, I don't know about. We said the trap house.
Well, it was the 90s version.
That's back east.
Yeah, that's back east.
90s
Yeah.
version trap house. 90s version trap house.
Okay.
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff went down
Lots.
there. Speaking of that, man, the whole thing, the little political situations that going on. We was talking about, Clark and his political views, and young lady asked a question about keeping it to themselves, whatever. But we've been talking about political views for the last couple of years with the whole Kaepernick situation, and then Trump actually getting involved by calling the players sons of bitches that knelt and whatnot. And then Peter, you guys see the Peter commercial that they tried to have actually on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
So Peter tried to have this commercial. I don't know if we got it, but if we don't, they had this commercial that they wanted to run during the Super Bowl, and Fox and the NFL denied it because they're showing animals kneeling in the jungles, in the water. Yeah, like you got monkeys rolled up kneeling, giraffes kneeling and whatnot. Basically showing what Colin Kaepernick did and basically trying to bring awareness to their agenda. Of course, saving animals and whatnot. People going off. Obviously, NFL didn't want to have anything to do with it. And black people are going in as well because they're saying now you're appropriating or you're trying to compare animal rights to police brutality
Right.
and injustice when it comes to being a black person in this country. Do you think they have a point?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The only group in America you can get away with talking shit about anybody there are black men and black women. You have certain groups that have a certain sexual preference. They're protected. Animals are protected. Latinos, Asians, white. Everybody else is protected except for black people.